the second time that day that I was attacked and pulled out of my wheelchair by the police. And basically what happened is that one police officer who recognised me from when he had dragged me down the road in the first incident came running towards me, tipped me out of my wheelchair onto the road, and then dragged me from the middle of the road over to the side of the road.
With any explanation as to why he would take that action?
He did not say one word.
Obviously, you've been involved in the previous protests. I believe you were on top of the Millbank Tower a couple of weeks ago. You're obviously considered protesting at the moment, important part of your life.
Yes, I think we stand up against the acts that the government is swinging into our society. Education is only the start of these cuts. Every one of us is going to be affected, so I think it's vital that we all stand to fight against this government.
So do you see the police as being part of the government, part of those that you're fighting against?
I don't see the police as the central force we are fighting against, but what I will say is that it is vital to contextualise these incidents. This is not a one-off. The police's role at demonstrations is to initiate and provoke violence, and that is what they have done at every demonstration. The evidence of this is that during the last demonstration before this one, on November the 30th, the police failed to kettle us, and what resulted from that was thousands of students marching around of central London for over 2.5 hours with not 1 ounce of violence, and that was a complete failure for the government and for the police. So this is how they are responding. Use as much violence as they possibly can to keep us off the streets, but whatever they do, we will continue to demonstrate.
I'm sure people who've watched it will make up their own minds what they think the police were doing, but why, as you claim, why would they initiate violence? Why would they be brutal towards protesters? Surely they're just trying to police the streets of London and to stop violence and criminal damage taking place.
The police's role in demonstrations is to protect the interests of the government, and that has been their role since the birth of the Metropolitan Police. When you say people can make up their own minds, I agree 100%. Looking at on your screen now, what I will ask you is this: if the police are there to protect us, would you consider the way to protect a disabled person in a wheelchair to pull him out of his wheelchair and drag him across the road? I really don't think so.
I mean, you have a website which you say it's one man's journey on the path of revolution. Do you see being a revolutionary, as someone whose stated aim is to bring down this government?
To be honest, I don't see myself in such important terms. I think really I'm just one person in this struggle. But also I want to say, I am not the victim here. The real victims are the students that are now lying in hospital. Students like Alfie Meadows, who was beaten on the head with a police truncheon and ended up in hospital having emergency brain surgery. Now just imagine for 1 second if it was Prince Charles or Camilla or a police officer that nearly died thanks to the violence of our police force. What would the media be saying then?